Well, let's talk about Linkin Park to start. Basically, they came out with a new singer, right? So first of all, Dryden, in this about section right here, Linkin Park is an American rock band formed in Agora Hills, California.
Yeah,
wow.
I knew that because the guitar. I think the guitar player and
Brad.
Mike Shinoda also went to Agora.
Yep.
Repping
So
A-Town.
Chester Bennington committed suicide a while back. The thing that was it's not funny. I don't want to say that it's funny, but I have this really clear memory of when he killed himself. Delaney, your sister, goes. She's like, "Have you listened to that guy's lyrics? Like, is it any surprise that he killed himself?
Yeah,
listen to what he's saying in his lyrics."
I mean, yeah, his songs are. It's like Mac Miller or any of those dudes.
Yeah.
It's all or Lane State, all those grunge guys.
Right. All their songs are like, "I'm gonna die, somebody kill me." So anyway, Linkin Park got back together, and so what do you know much about this girl, Emily Armstrong, their new singer?
So I was talking to my coworker Adam, and I guess people are saying she either was a Scientologist or is friends with somebody who is involved in the Scientology stuff. And that's one thing people are freaking out about. And I don't know. I don't really know about it, so I guess more power to them. But
for some reason, I thought she was in like another popular.
She was in another band before. Yeah.
Co-founder of Dead Sarah.
Yeah, I've never really heard of them.
They opened up. I think that was a band I saw. They opened up for. Yes, they did. They opened up for Slash.
Did they?
Yeah, when I saw Slash, Dead Sarah opened up for him.
So BBC is going to explain the controversy to us because I have not really dove.
And after that, I just saw another headline. We're going to have to check of Chester Bennington's son talking about Mike Shinoda.
Okay. So let's do this one first, just to bring everyone up to speed.
Yeah.
Last week, the rock band Linkin Park announced their return 7 years after frontman Chester Bennington died by suicide. They were one of the most successful acts of the 2000s, with hits like Numb in the End that fused aggressive metal riffs to hip-hop beats. For their return, they were joined by two new members, drummer Colin Britton and singer Emily Armstrong, who had shared lead vocals with existing bandmate Mike Shinoda. But no sooner had the announcement been made than a torrent of criticism emerged over Armstrong's alleged ties to the Church of Scientology and her past support of convicted rapist Danny Masterson. So Danny Masterson is the guy that was on That 70s Show.
Yeah.
Right? And he got in trouble for being like a sexual assault guy. And like even Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who were friends with him, were like came out in his defense or something, and they got a bunch of backlash. So that's nothing new. She later issued a statement distancing herself from Masterson, stressing that she did not condone any abuse or violence against women. Here's how the story unfolded. Who is Emily Armstrong? Born in LA, native, 1986. LA native Emily Armstrong is best known as a lead singer of hard rock band Dead Sarah. She first got into music at the age of 12. Blah 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 blah. Inspired by bands like L7 and Hole. 2011 single Weatherman. Armstrong inspired on a lot of famous fans. Courtney Love asked her to sing on Hole's 2010 album, Nobody's Daughter. Dave Grohl once said Dead Sarah should be the next biggest rock band in the world. That never quite happened. The band signed to Epic Records after the success of Weatherman, but the relationship was short-lived and they had to crowdfund the release of their next album. But they persevered, releasing their most recent album, Ain't It Tragic, in 2021 and touring with Demi Lovato following year after working on her rock album, Holy Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, they opened up for Slash. I remember them now. They were a three-piece.
Okay.
Were they good?
Yeah, they were not bad.
After the death of Chester Bennington, Linkin Park went on hiatus, only performing publicly at a tribute concert for their former singer in 2017. The years that followed, the band were uncertain about their future. Okay, so we don't have to read all that, but how did people respond to the new lineup? Linkin Park unveiled their new look on Thursday, the 5th of September, alongside a new single, The Emptiness Machine, and plans for a world tour. I mean, she's pretty hot. Like, let's see.
Good look at her.
Armstrong certainly has big. So my joke was Man, she already nails it. Have you heard the song? Have either of you guys listened to the song?
Yeah, I listened. Well, I listened to the song, and I saw they did like a little live thing where they played some of their old songs with her on vocals. There's the Mars Volta stuff.
Yeah, so this is where it gets juicy. So anyway, what did you think of the song? Was it good?
It's not bad. I feel like in a way, like that article said, she does have big shoes to fill, but I also feel like it's a weird like dynamic because a lot of people would say that they should have just started a new band or done something similar.
It's like
Because I
Pantera.
feel like in a way she is trying a little too hard to sound like Chester on some parts and not really sounding like herself. You
Like
know what I
herself.
mean? Instead of just like making
They
the
probably
song
want
better.
that though to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the singing parts are cool. Like it's different because it's a chick singing it, so it's not bad. But I don't know. I didn't see anything that I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I mean, it's cool, good for them. I'm not like upset about it.
You know, we had this conversation about bands continuing without their original singer before, and we kind of came to the conclusion that a lot of great bands kept going after
Yeah.
they lost their singer.
And they've done really well.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
But then
Black
there's also
Sabbath.
like, yeah, but then there's also there's like bands like Nirvana or Sublime where it's really hard to replace the original singer because he's like this chief songwriter in the band.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
main voice. Like, I mean, AC/DC, definitely the singing is iconic, but also a lot of it's like the riffs and the, you know, like Thunderstruck is the, you know, like.
I mean, Angus Young is like,
Yeah, so it's not that AC/DC, it's good for them that they made it, but I also think like Linkin Park, especially Chester Bennington, is like an exceptional vocalist.
yeah, and I can't really, given my past history of defending the Pantera reunion under that name, I can't really like diss Linkin Park for doing this because it's kind of the same dynamic,
Yeah.
you know. And I brought up Pantera, so I missed that.
Have to.
Yeah, so to keep going on this, Dryden, you were the one that showed me this. Cedric from the Mars Volta got in the mix. So
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
So Mars Volta singer Cedric Bixler-Zavala and his wife Chrissy Carnell Bixler spoke out about all these hyphenated names, man. Spoke out against Armstrong after she joined the band. The singer reshared a post he had written last year on Dead Sarah's Instagram page saying, "Do your fans know about your friend Danny Masterson, your rapist friend?" The post related to U.S. actor Danny Masterson, former star of that 70s show, who was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after being convicted of 2 of 3 forcible rape charges earlier in the year. Chrissy Carnell Bixler was one of several women who accused Masterson of sexual assault, and while the actor was not convicted on the charges relating to her allegations, he was found guilty on charges brought by 2 other anonymous accusers. Okay, that's interesting. His wife was involved in that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Bixler-Zavala, and Carnell Bixler, both former Scientologists, have said the church harassed them and other witnesses over their allegations against Masterson, who is also a Scientologist. So this is the part I wasn't on board with. I didn't really know about the whole like Scientology. I was like, why is everyone mad about Scientology? It's always been stupid and crazy, you know, like,
Yeah.
but apparently this is why. So how did Emily Armstrong respond? The singer posted a statement on her own on Friday addressing some of the allegations against her. "Hi, I'm Emily," she wrote in an Instagram. "I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance and went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. I have never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty. To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes." So let's show. This is the post that Cedric posted. "A message from my wife above, a message from me. Emily, did you know your friend Chris Wallums and Danny would drive by one of the Jane Does very slowly after a fucked up day of cross-examinations and follow her in their car, staring at her, trying to intimidate her. I do. Do you know that Alana Masterson would hide in the bathrooms of one of the Jane Does, had a massive panic attack on the stand, and proceeded to harass her, calling her a liar. Anyway, if you're not going to speak out against the human and child trafficking cult which you're a part of, and you enable remaining silent on the... So these guys are all like outraged about her being involved in that. And it's, I don't know.
I don't know that she was involved in it though. She just...
So that's kind of what I was getting to. It's this like cancel culture thing of like, oh, this person's having their moment. We need to point out one of the things they did wrong in their life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like all of a sudden she's like
a terrible person.
I guess because she has a platform now, they don't want her to like, that's the whole thing. It's like deplatforming. Now that she has a platform, they don't. And I mean, I guess like that thing said, they have a personal beef with her because his wife is connected to that thing. So that's definitely part of it. Because I didn't really see anyone else posting shit like this. I mean, people were posting about it, but nothing as like, you know.
It's also interesting to me that they have this level of like outrage about her, like because they were involved in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't involved in defending Masterson or anything, but they were part of the same cult for a while, so they were obviously wrapped up in some dumb shit themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, is she still a part of it? If she even was a part of it, that's my question. So I don't know.
So back to the BBC article. Armstrong is Emily Armstrong a Scientologist? Here's her with Cedric at a Scientology event in 2013.
There you go.
Armstrong did not address her ties to Scientology in her statement. Man, it's funny because when I first moved to LA, we had a rehearsal studio on Hollywood and Ivar, and it was right across from the Scientology Center. And man, those people, I get why these people get wrapped up in it, because those Scientology people, especially at that time, like, I mean, this was 2013, so it was a little bit after I had already moved on from that area, but like they were heavy, man. They would come out and like take a personality quiz. And so anyone that was in Hollywood on the ground like this, like musicians and actresses and stuff, I'm sure they got wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
Armstrong did not address her ties to Scientology in her statement, and it's unclear whether she's still a member. She was born into the church where her parents are both prominent members. Her mother is said to be Gail Armstrong, former Scientology spokesperson and a senior consulting editor of the church's magazine Freedom. Armstrong was also pictured at the Church of Scientology Celebrity Center for Gala, celebrating the church's 44th anniversary in 2013. Photo of the event supplied by the church. Above saw her posing along Cedric Bixler-Zavala. Armstrong's never publicly commented on her relationship with the church, but several of Dead Sarah's lyrics suggest criticism and rejection of Scientology's teachings. The singer identifies as queer. Oh, something that Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard described as a perversion. The modern church says it does not dictate it. So when this happened, just to be completely honest with you, I made the joke, oh, Linkin Park pulled a Disney and they put a chick in it. Did they make her gay?
Yeah.
And apparently they did.
That's funny.
Because that was the South Park joke, like
put a chick in it, make her gay.
Interesting. Well, so Scientology isn't very fond of homosexuality. Is that what that said, basically?
What religion is. And honestly, again, it's like, I get that Cedric's emotional because of his wife was tied up in the rape thing. But also, like, the Church of Scientology, from where I'm sitting, is no worse than, like, the Catholic Church or the Mormon Church. Like, the Catholic Church was raping little boys and covering it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't get any worse than that. And no one's like, oh, you were once a Catholic, you're a terrible person,
Yeah. I guess I think they need more time for this to pan out and just kind of see who she is entirely, because it doesn't seem like she's a bad person. It doesn't seem like she's like a child trafficker or whatever people are saying. Like,
it's like she kind of just got famous. Really? I mean, she was kind of like
sure, there's people who, I mean, like you were just saying about in any church that use religion or that kind of church environment to child traffic or whatever, but doesn't mean anyone who believes in it or partakes is a child trafficker.
So the part where she defended the guy in court is like probably the biggest no, the biggest, and she apologized for that. She's like, I try to see the good in everyone. So it's a non-scandal, really. It's one of those things where she got famous and now everyone's trying to cancel her. And I'm at the point with that stuff where I'm like, if someone did that to me, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not apologizing.
Yeah.
I do not care. Yeah.
This was something in my past. It's over and done. I've grown. So anyway.
So how old is she? Like especially like she looks young. Like, and if they're saying her parents are, I mean, she's kind of like forcibly involved in it if her parents are Scientologists.
So she's not young. I mean, she's not old, but she's born in 1986.
Okay.
So she's basically in her 30s. Like she's, a few years younger than I am.
Got it.
8 years younger than I am, to be exact. So late 30s. But yeah, as soon like when I started hearing about this, I'm like, oh great, now what? It's probably good for Linkin Park though, because everyone we're talking about it, and
we should check out. Let's check out that thing about Mike Shinoda, because when I was talking to my coworker, he was like all dissing on Mike Shinoda, and I was like, what did he do? Like, what's wrong with him? And he was like, oh, he like did all kinds of stuff after Chester died and kind of like used his name for one. I don't know.
So here's the Deadline article. Chester Bennington's son Jamie calls out Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda for betraying fans and replacing late father with Emily Armstrong. Jamie Bennington, son of the late Linkin Park lead singer. They should have put him in the band, like Sublime did.
Yeah.
With Brett. Yeah.
Maybe he's not a singer.
Maybe not. Calling out the band for their decision to hire Emily Armstrong. The band reunited with Armstrong as the new lead singer following Chester Bennington's death in 2011-17. Jamie Bennington took to social media to air his grievances about the decision to replace his late father with Armstrong. Hey, Mike, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their head around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself, Jamie wrote on his Instagram stories. They're having a hard time wrapping their head around how you hired your friend of many years to replace Chester, knowing Emily's history in the church and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson. So Jamie Bennington was referring to Armstrong's ties to Scientology and her support of Danny Masterson amid his sexual assault trial. In a statement she shared online, Armstrong recently came out to address her past support of Masterson. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone. We already read all this. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have unimaginable details, and years later, she continued to say it as clearly as possible. I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes. Jamie Bennington also accused Shinoda of quietly erasing my father's life and legacy in real time during International Month and refusing to acknowledge the impact of hiring someone like Emily without so much as clarifying statement on a variety of victims that make up your core fan base. In another message, Jamie Bennington said Shinoda betrayed the trust and loaned to you by decades of fans and supporting human beings, including myself. We trusted you to be the bigger person, to be the change because you promised us that was your intention, and now you're just senile and toned up. So that kid's mad. He's like big mad about it.
Oh, it's so interesting. Like I don't understand. I mean, I understand, but I also don't understand. Like you were saying with the Scientology stuff, it's like okay, what is Scientology? Like, what is the church about? I don't really know what it's about.
You should watch the South Park.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Something's about watch South Park.
Yeah, that's a good point. They'll teach you.
South Park, honestly, South Park explains it better than I think any.
To all mankind, which still to this day causes all our fears, our confusions, and our problems.
South Park does a good job explaining the Mormon Church too. Have you seen the Mormon one? Dum dee dum dum dum.
Yeah, that one I've seen, but
So to kind of sum it up for you, when I was a kid, Dianetics was a really popular book, and that was kind of like the basis of Scientology. I actually read most of Dianetics because I bought it for 50 cents at like a Savers or something like that. But the premise of Scientology is actually kind of good. It's like basically self-therapy. And the whole premise of it, when I read Dianetics, I didn't read anything about the alien shit in Dianetics, but in that book, it's basically about like how to like self-therapy and like stuff that has happened to you throughout your life are called engrams, and they get in your head, and that's what causes like a lot of your neuroses and like your self-doubt and like stuff like that, because it's just deeply implanted in your skull. Something someone said to you or something that happened to you causes these neuroses. And through self-therapy, you can go into your own mind and find them and unlock them and like change yourself, which is kind of a cool concept. And it's actually, I think there's some like legitimacy to that. But then the rest of it is like, oh, there's these aliens that are frozen in like time. There's like this whole alien aspect to it that's really stupid.
Yeah.
And it's a really like hardcore cult that's like a lot of the people who've gotten out of it now are like, dude, it's like, you know, almost impossible to leave. Like they will try to kill you if you leave, you know. It's that. And the Scientologists are very powerful in Los Angeles because that's where they're kind of established, and a lot of the biggest actors and producers and Hollywood like elite are part of it. So
Interesting. All right.